Hi, my name is Kristen. I'm a writer on Wattpad. My mom is a total Karen. I even write stories about her on my Wattpad. This is until my stories got discovered and all hell broke loose. One day, I was in the cafe and I looked at the cute guy who was walking over to me with my milkshake. As he handed me my drink, he said, here you go, gorgeous. I could not believe my ears. Did Tyler, my crush since kindergarten, just call me gorgeous? But before he could say another word, a shrill voice echoed in the cafe. Where is your manager? This coffee is too hot! I want to speak to your manager! I sunk back in my chair while the raging Karen unleashed her fury on poor Tyler. I'd seen this too many times. She really was as crazy as I made her in my stories. I told Mom to back off. She turned to me with blazing eyes. No daughter of mine will talk back to me like that because of some loser waiter. Oh no! I looked at Tyler in horror. I thought the worst of that night was watching my crush stare at me like I was a monster. But boy, was I wrong. When I got to school the next day, everyone was looking at me weirdly and some kids were pointing at me. Suddenly, my phone pinged and I nearly dropped it when I saw the message. Someone had recorded Mom that night and the video had gone viral. When I finally saw Susie, my best friend, in the cafeteria, she ran to me and hugged me. Kristen, I'm so sorry. It'll blow over soon. But it didn't. When I got home that afternoon, ready to go off on Mom, she looked furious and pushed a pile of papers into my hand. As I read them, I almost passed out. They were printouts of my stories. I can explain. It's not you, it's... Suddenly, she pulled me into a hug and yelled, We're famous, Kersey! You genius! What do you mean? A famous producer watched the video and saw how people loved to hate me and thought Tyler and you looked cute. Then he found your stories and now they want us to do a reality show based on your stories. I could not believe my ears. I'd be the star of my own stories? And if Tyler agreed to be in it, maybe I'd have another chance with him. I rushed over to the place he was working at. Tyler, we need to talk. But just then, he dropped to his knee. I want to be your boyfriend. I could not believe my ears. Yes, of course, Tyler. I'd like nothing more. He laughed and jumped to his feet and hugged me. This was perfect. This was... Cut! Immediately, Tyler let go of me. Wasn't I just brilliant, babe? What do you mean? A funny little man and a camera crew rushed out yelling, You're a natural! I love that you don't even need the script. Just then, I saw the camera crew and suddenly everything made sense. Clearly, the director had already approached Tyler. Tyler turned to me and grinned. Not that difficult to pretend to be in love with you, beautiful. My heart raced at that. Did he actually like me? The next few weeks were whack. I had a camera crew follow me everywhere. And they chose everything and everyone around me. When we walked into math class, the director looked up and down at the teacher. He just picked up his phone and said, No, this won't do. And seconds later, a super hot guy, introduced as our new teacher, came in and started playing with a calculator. I was so relieved when the class ended and I finally met up with Susie. But when I hugged her, she pushed me away. Is this all your life is about now? The fame and fake people? Gosh, was my best friend jealous of me? But before I could reply, my phone pinged. Tyler had texted. They're ready for the take. I jumped to my feet and grabbed my stuff. We'll talk about this later, okay? To be honest, I was having the time of my life. Not only did I have the best boyfriend ever, but also everyone wanted to be friends with me. The only thing I really wanted was for Susie to be on the show too. But the director refused because he said she wasn't pretty enough. So they had a model replace her. After that, things just went downhill. One day, I was at the cafeteria when Susie plopped next to me. I was thrilled to see her. I miss you, Chris. You never have time for me now. Before I could reply, the model who was playing my best friend got up and splashed cold water all over Susie. Oops, sorry. Chris, you should probably get away from her. She'll mess up that gorgeous outfit. I jumped to my feet. Hey! But suddenly, the director grabbed my arm and dragged me away. I turned back to see Susie sitting there looking heartbroken. I was the worst best friend ever. Just send her chocolates or something. We don't have time for her moping. Just then, someone yelled, There's another Karen attack! I rushed outside with everyone else to see Mom was yelling at a teacher. "You made a spelling mistake in my little girl's name. I demand to see the principal." What was happening? I ran over to her and pulled her away from the poor teacher. "Mom, what are you doing?" She quickly whispered into my ear. "I'm improvising." I took a look around, and sure enough, the cameras were rolling and everyone was laughing. I felt humiliated. I began to yell, "Just stop it! I quit!" And then I turned around and ran. I just had to get away from this all. Suddenly, I heard Tyler calling my name. "Leave me alone, Tyler. I don't want to be a laughingstock." He caught up with me and pulled me into a hug. I looked around suspiciously. "Don't worry, there are no cameras." After a minute, he asked, Are you really quitting?" I nodded my head while sobbing. He said, You can't quit." He shifted uneasily before bursting into tears. "Babe, I need to be in the show for a reason." "Yes, to become rich and famous." "No, I need the money. I need it for my mom. She is really ill." Oh my God, Tyler! You guys and all your lies! Yes, girls are emotional, but not dumb. Oh God, that hurts. I didn't know you were so heartless. Here, look at this. Does she look fine to you? Oh my God, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I feel terrible now. You should. Okay, I'm in. I'm not leaving the show. Please don't hate me. I'll try. And before I knew it, he kissed me. Fireworks erupted in my head as I kissed him back. Suddenly, we heard loud applause and the director jumped out from behind the bushes. "Brilliant! We just got the kiss, but it was brilliant! Good job bringing this Karen around, Tyler." What? Again? I messaged Susie asking her to meet me at a cafe the next day. I'd been feeling terrible and I needed to make it up to her. But the next day, by the time I got free, I was already late because of the shoot. When I got there, she seemed furious and was just getting up to leave. I tried explaining it was an emergency. She simply showed me her phone screen with all the posts from the shoot. I never thought I'd say this, but you're a horrible friend, Chris. I'm a what? I just skipped a great after party for you. You're the one who's being so freaking jealous of me. Can you even pretend to be happy for me? As I realized what I'd said, I snapped shut. What was I doing? How could I say something so mean? Sue, it's great to know what you really think of your best friend. Before I could stop her and apologize, she rushed out. When I got home, my phone was blowing up with messages from Tyler. "Chris, look up daughter of Karen becomes Karen." I did, and what I saw made me drop my phone in horror. It was a video of me yelling at Susie. Then the producers called. "The stats are in, Kirsten, and the producers love Susie." He said he was changing my script and had decided that Susie and Tyler would date while I was the crazy ex. "I've even fired the model who was playing her. The producers love her." I was reluctant, but then I thought of Tyler and his mom and changed my mind. Fine, I'll do it. It would all be just fake. Nothing would change. Right? Wrong. Suddenly, not only was Susie totally avoiding me, but also I was exactly what I had always been terrified of becoming, a Karen. To make matters worse, Tyler and all my other friends started to disappear. I wasn't being invited to parties, and the models and kids all started hanging out with Susie. One evening, I woke up from a nap and was surprised to find Mom and all the regular camera crew missing. I checked my phone, and what I saw left me devastated. Everyone's stories were full of pictures and videos from a party. Just then I remembered it was Susie's birthday. Was she really not inviting me? I felt devastated. I grabbed all the things she'd ever given me and rushed over to her house. The security guy stopped me and said I couldn't go in. That's when I really lost it. I started to throw everything I'd brought into her yard. "Take this, you good-for-nothing friend! And this! I hate you!" Just then, the gate flew open, and Mom walked out. She dragged me inside the house and glared at me. "Just what are you doing? Me? What are you doing here?" "I was here for Susie's birthday, of course." "Mom, how could you even be here if I'm not invited?" "Well, everyone was. I wasn't going to miss it because you've been stupid." Before I knew it, all my anger was pouring out right there. "You're the one always embarrassing yourself in public trying to steal my show." "Your show? The show exists because of me. It's my show." Suddenly, I realized she was right. It was her show. and it existed with the sole purpose of making us laughingstocks. They'd even changed my script and taken over all my life. I was trapped in my own story, and I'd hurt my friend in the process. You're right, Mom. The show is yours, and it's your world, not mine. I'm not some stupid Karen. I really quit. Then I ran past her into the house. I had an apology to make, but just before I entered, I heard Tyler say, "Mom would love to take you to Paris this weekend." I barged into her room. Susie and Tyler were kissing, and there was no camera crew. They were kissing for real. Tyler, what's going on? Why are you kissing her? And why is your ill and poor mom taking her to Paris? Who else would my boyfriend kiss? The color drained from Tyler's face. Babe, I can explain. She kissed me. Explain this, you cheater. And I threw a glass of soda from the nearby table at him. Then I turned to Susie. I never thought you'd stoop so low and kiss my boyfriend. Your boyfriend? What are you? Oh, don't pretend. You can keep this loser. I'm out of here. With that, I turned and stormed out. I couldn't believe Tyler had been stringing me along for such a long time just to be famous. There was only one way to end this. I decided to call the producers to end this. Just as I was about to do that, Mom opened the door and said Susie was here to see me. I don't want to, but Susie pushed the door and came in. She started to cry and said, "I've broken up with him, Chris. He swore you two weren't dating. I've left the show too. I don't want to do it at the cost of our friendship." I could tell she was serious. I found myself crying with her. "I'm sorry for hurting you too, Susie. I got carried away. I missed you so much. I'm done with this stupid show." Immediately, Mom started yelling at us. "What do you mean you're done, huh? You can't. It's my money too." But we ignored her as we both talked to the producers. We told them that they couldn't produce the show or we would sue them for making us go through this stressful and hard time. The producers decided to not air the show eventually. Mom went crazy and became more and more of a Karen. What I learned from all of this is that you can be a Karen without knowing you are a Karen. So take this advice from me. After you like this video, go ask your friends if you are a Karen or not and tell us what they said in the comments.
Hi, I'm Blessing from New Zealand, and I have a skin disease called vitiligo. But that didn't stop me from getting revenge on all the good-for-nothing jerks in my life. When I was 5 years old, I spent all day making a beautiful Mother's Day card for my stepmom. "Look what I got you, Mommy." "That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And how many times have I told you not to call me that? I'm not your mommy. Your mom is dead." And with that, she tore it into two. But I made that especially for you." "Who asked you to? Not me. Why would I want someone like you to love me, stupid girl?" I ran to my room and jumped onto my bed, crying myself to sleep. I couldn't understand why I was born with this disease. I just wanted to be normal. Dad was only 17 when he had me, and he never even got a proper degree. The solution he found for his problems was marrying my evil stepmother, who was 15 years older than him, but very rich. It made things worse for me, though, because she was a massive pain in the butt. When I was 6, I found out that I was high-key a genius. One day, the teacher asked us all to memorize some nursery poems about winter and recite them in class. I snuck into my stepmom's library at night and took my favorite book off the shelf. I memorized Shakespeare's Winter by heart. When it was my turn to read out loud, the teacher looked stunned. I was asked to take a series of tests the next day, after which she called my parents and told them I was a genius with an IQ of 180. "Oh, wow. I guess that explains why she's so ugly." Here's a brochure for this amazing school for gifted kids. God, that looks expensive. No, we can't send her there. It's bad enough that we'll have to spend a fortune on beauty products to cover up her skin. I hoped Dad would say something, but he was just quiet as usual. He mostly just did whatever she said because, well, he was living on her money. I thought I would always be miserable between my annoying parents, but one lucky day, I stumbled on an amazing secret, and it was the happiest day of my life. You see, I found out by accident that Dad had a girlfriend. That day, I understood that stepmom was probably horrible to me because of her own insecurities. She was just a loser who was getting cheated on and I would never let her words or actions affect me again. A few days later at dinner, Dad left the table when his phone started ringing. I instantly guessed it might be Dad's girlfriend, and before Stepmom could pick up the phone, I ran off with it. She started chasing me around the lounge and caught me by the shirt. I didn't know what to do, so I flung the phone at the wall, smashing it to bits. Just then, Dad walked in.
"What's going on? And who broke my phone?"
"Daddy, I can explain." And with that, I jumped onto the sofa and whispered in his ear that his girlfriend was calling, and I'd stopped Stepmom from answering it. He immediately gave me a big hug. Stepmom screamed in rage and stormed out of the room. While things were looking up at home, they were just getting worse at school. My condition made kids look at me like I was an alien, and it just seemed to annoy everyone I was smarter than them, especially that horrible Luna. She was 2 years older than everyone else because she was really dumb and had been held back twice. She never missed a chance to make fun of me. In the 5th grade, I entered an international physics competition and had the highest score among 500 participants from around the world. You've made us all so proud, Blessing. You don't speak for us, miss, because we're all pretty ashamed to have her here. She should be in some school for freaks. Luna, that's a terrible thing to say. Apologize right now. Okay. Sorry, Blessing. Not Blessing. And then she knocked over all my books and started stomping on them. The teacher yelled at her and immediately dragged her off to the principal. She just kept being a jerk, so I knew I had to find a way to deal with her. One day, I found it. We were in the 7th grade celebrating Cultural Day when she came up to me and said, "And what are you supposed to be? White? Black? A Dalmatian? A panda? What are you?" "I'm a human being, unlike you, you monster." "Oh. Since when did you become so brave?" "Since the day I saw you cheating on your boyfriend with 2 boys. "What? I don't know what you're talking about, idiot. I saw you behind that tree, Luna. So you better leave me alone or I'll tell everyone about this. And who do you think they'll believe? Me or a weirdo like you?" "I'm pretty sure they'll believe me." And with that, I played a video of her I'd made on my phone, and from that day on, she didn't mess with me anymore. I could finally focus on my studies in peace. Boy, was I wrong. Things were getting much worse at home. Dad had started coming home really late every night, and I could tell Stepmom was getting suspicious. One night, I woke up with a start when I heard loud screaming. "How could you cheat on me? You don't think I have feelings?"
Ugh, give me a break. It's not like I'm ashamed of having a hot, young girlfriend. Just look at her. She's running for the Miss World contest next year. Really, you can't blame me for cheating on you. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
"That's it, you two-timing, gold-digging jerk. Get out of my house, now." I quickly ran back and jumped into bed, feeling sure Dad would come any minute and tell me to pack my bags. But 5 minutes later, I heard the front door slam shut and saw him leaving. I was certain Stepmom would throw me out on the street, but to my surprise, she didn't. I kept thinking she'd take out all her anger on me, but she just started ignoring me, and I didn't mind that at all. For the next few years, everyone just let me be. Until one day in 9th grade, I was shocked when the cutest guy on earth, Ronald, came and sat next to me at lunch.
Hey, would you be interested in tutoring a dumb kid like me?
I was more than happy to. So I said yes. We started our sessions the next day, and Ronald turned out to be the sweetest guy. He never brought up my condition and treated me like a gentleman. One day, he suddenly took my hand and looked deep into my eyes.
"Blessing, I don't know why people say these terrible things about you. You have to know, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever met, inside and out."
He held my chin, pulled my face close to his, and kissed my neck. Just as he kissed me on the lips, I heard that ugly Luna.
"Weren't you gay?"
"Who?" "Ronald, you said you were gay when I asked you out. And look at you now, kissing this ugly creature."
Don't call her that.
"It's okay, babe. I'm used to her nasty words. Let her burn in her jealousy." And with that, I took his hand and started walking, making sure to push Luna as I left. "I'll make sure you regret this." That evening, I snuck Ronald in through my bedroom window to spend the night with me. Just as we'd snuggled on the couch, the door flung open and Stepmom barged in, looking insane with fury.
"Oh no, you can't see a man when I can't.
You can't do that just because your husband left you. She grabbed Ronald by his t-shirt, practically spitting in his face. And why are you with a freak like her? Do you have some kind of condition too? Couldn't find any other girl, huh?
She's a great girl, and I like her so much.
Oh yeah? Prove it. Kiss her foot right now, and I'll leave you alone for good.
Back off, lady. Sorry, but I can't be a part of this drama. I'm out of here.
And with that, he left looking angry and embarrassed. Stepmom gave me an evil smile as she walked out, and I screamed as I slammed the door hard behind her. That witch! Ronald didn't turn up for our tutoring session the next day, and when I saw him around campus, he completely avoided eye contact with me. I decided to give him some space. Luna looked extra happy these days, and I knew it was because she could see Ronald and I weren't together anymore. One day, I spotted them by the lockers, and the minute she saw me, she started touching and hugging him. And even worse, he didn't seem to mind at all. I couldn't believe he'd do this to me. I went home in tears, only to hear a familiar voice as soon as I entered. It was Dad. I knew the only reason she'd call him back was because she was jealous that I had a man and she didn't. She was just that petty. The next day when I went to school, I was determined to punch both Ronald and Luna the moment I saw them. But as I was walking down the hall, someone suddenly pulled me by the arm and into the janitor's closet. It was Ronald. You horrible...
Listen, I love you, okay? I thought maybe this relationship wouldn't work, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. Luna's been all over me, but she is not who I want to be with. Please, give me another chance.
He looked and sounded really sincere. So I decided to forgive him, and then he started kissing me gently on my neck. Oh, I missed him so much. We started dating secretly at first, but then I decided I didn't want to hide it anymore. Ronald, I'm strong and smart, and if you're ashamed of being with me, then I don't care to be with you. So you have to make a choice and decide what's more important, being in this relationship with me publicly or your reputation. The next day when I walked into school, Ronald came over to me and immediately took my hand. My heart soared with joy, and then I spotted Luna down the corridor staring right at us. I was expecting her to throw some horrible tantrum as she walked over to us, but what she said left me in shock. Congratulations, you two. I'm so happy for you. And Blessing, I'm really sorry for the way I treated you before. She squeezed my arm gently and walked away. This girl was definitely up to no good. One day when Ronald and I were hanging out in my room, we suddenly heard loud screams from downstairs. You're cheating on me again with a teenager?
Yeah, but she behaves like an adult. She's a lot more mature than you are.
I expected Stepmom to throw him out again, but she didn't. She simply walked to her room, packed her bags, and left. And that's the last time I ever saw her. The next day at lunch, Luna suddenly stopped by our table and said, "Hey, I just wanted to say that I've finally come to accept your condition, and I'm not ashamed of you anymore." Excuse me? Yeah, I told your dad, I really want to be a good stepmom to you. I sat there with my mouth open as she walked away. The 18-year-old Dad was dating was Luna? I ran home to confront Dad with Ronald right behind me. Have you completely lost it, Dad?
Oh, don't be like your stepmom. Luna's older than you, and I'm still pretty young, so why not?
Why are you the most selfish, useless dad in the whole world? You've never had a proper job. You've never stood up for me. And now you're just chasing one bimbo after another?
I just got you an amazing new stepmom who accepts your condition. And you live in this house because of all the hard work I've done. You think putting up with that old witch was easy for me?
Seemed fine to me. You just used her for her money and left her to treat me like dirt. Gosh, I really hate you. Of course, Luna was nothing more than a gold digger and was just getting Dad to buy her expensive stuff all the time. One time, when we were watching a movie, she just squeezed in between us and started touching Ronald. I slapped her. He deserves a real woman in his life. And you deserve to get your butt kicked right now. I want him, and I'm taking him from you. We'll see about that. And then I pulled Ronald and kissed his face off. She stormed out of the room angrily. I just did my best to ignore everything and focus on my studies. I needed a scholarship to go to college and leave this madhouse for good. The day that I was leaving, Dad came to see me off at the door, his eyes swollen.
I found out last night that she's been cheating on me. Maybe you shouldn't go. Blessing, I don't want to be alone.
Dad, you have to start acting like an adult already. And if you really care about her, you should try and win her back. You have to put up a fight for people you love. I still have to go, though. Good luck. Ronald and I moved away to the same college, and 4 years later, I was asked to give a speech at graduation. I spoke about my condition and how I'd never let it stop me from achieving my goals. The speech went viral, and since then, I've become a spokesperson for people suffering from vitiligo and other skin conditions. I've even been offered modeling contracts. Ronald and I have a beautiful baby girl now, and I will make sure she always knows she is perfect, just the way she is.